Hey guys, this is Matt Starr. Welcome to Be a Better Drummer. I'm coming to you from Swinghouse Recording and Rehearsal Studios in Atwater Village, Los Angeles, the West Coast home of D'Addario and Evans. Today I'm going to talk to you about my kit, answer some questions you guys have been asking, and get into a little bit more detail than I have in the past. Right now I have been playing this gorgeous Ludwig Legacy kits, 3 plies of maple. I have a lot of vintage kits that I've played over the years at Ludwig's, and I don't know how they did it, but this thing sounds like the old kits. It's got all the stuff I love, and it's got this modern edge. And technically, I don't know how you achieve that, but they did it. It's awesome. And take a look inside. You can see inside my kick drum. You can see it's 3 ply, and then it has the reinforcement rings. So sizes on the kit are 26 by 14, and that's really important. I didn't know about 14-inch kicks until I started playing old Ludwigs, and once I started playing deeper kicks, I realized how much I like the 14. So they're just really fast. The low end is really clean. It gets out of the drum really quick, and for me playing a 26 with nothing inside, I don't need a lot of extra air bouncing around in there. So really, really cool. And so whether I'm playing a 20, 22, or more nowadays 26, I love that 14-inch depth. So the tom is a 14. It's by 10 deep. And it's got a beautiful, I asked him to put the blue and olive badge, but it's got a beautiful piano finish, piano black finish. So it's not a wrap. It's actually a finish lacquer, which is pretty involved process. So this is the new mounts that they have, which are really cool. So if you have an old vintage drum, you can these screw holes will fit with the screw holes that are in the side of your drum, because usually in the past they'd be right there in the middle, right? So, but now these things go right in where your lug casing would be. So you can see the tension rod goes right in, and it's there. So no extra holes, and it's really resonant. It sounds nice. These stands are super durable and strong. Okay, and then bring you around to the floors. 16, 18, both by 16 inches deep, and I love them. I couldn't be happier. So, and then the snare. Oh, this snare drum. I love this drum so much. So this is a 14 by 6.5 deep chrome over brass. It's got the die-cast hoops and the tube lugs. This thing is gorgeous, fat. The tone is super clean. I played a Black Beauty for so many years, and I still do. But the sound on this drum, the Black Beauty, part of the reason I like it is because it has that nice gritty, kind of skanky sound to it. That's not really a complimentary word, but if you play Black Beauty, you know what I mean. It's got a lot of funk to it, you know. This drum has a much cleaner tone, so when it's really cranked up high, like I just did a hardcore session recently, and the drum just sliced through the track, but when it's dropped down low, it's really fat and super clear, which is not always an easy thing to get from a drum, especially at 6.5 inches deep. So yeah, I love it. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And every session I do or gig I do, this drum gets more comments than in any other snare drum I've ever played. Just bass players and engineers and just people randomly commenting on it. So why don't we talk about since we're on the snare, let's talk about what I have on there. So for the top, I have the Evans Heavyweight Snare Head. This is what I've been with Evans for about a year now, and I couldn't be happier. And this is what brought me over. Someone had given me this head, and I reluctantly tried it, and it blew my mind. I actually threw it on before the rehearsals for the Mr. Big tour, which started about a year and a half ago. And I had it on for the rehearsals, and then the first gig was in South America, and I said, you know what? We'll just get a head from the backline company. And we put that head on, and I said to my tech, something is missing, man. It doesn't sound as good as that Evans. Let's put that Evans back on, and then we'll see if in the next city they can get us an Evans head. And next city, tried again with a different head. No good. So we ended up keeping this head on for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. For me, a snare head will usually be unplayable after 2 shows. After 1 show, I would prefer to change it out because it's going to start to get pitted. After 2, it's unplayable if it doesn't already break. And after a 3rd show, I mean, I've never made it to a 3rd show with a snare head. These heads remind me of when I was a kid. I don't know what they were doing. I was playing another company's heads, but it seemed like you could put those snare heads on and just play them and play them. And if you made it past that threshold where they would break, then the head just sat in this place and it sounded amazing. And you start to lose some of the bottom and some of the top. It would just get this nice mid-range tone. It was really, really gorgeous, and you'd never want to take the head off. I hadn't had that experience in about 15 years, and I'm having that experience again with these heads. They're just amazing. So can't say enough good things. Okay, these funky little Gummy Bears. This is the most revolutionary invention in drum accessories ever, in my opinion, other than wrestling sneakers, which some of you guys might know what I'm talking about. These are called tuner fish. They keep my snare drum in tune. They do not slip. They do not fall off. They do not give at all. They're amazing. And when you're playing hard and you're playing under lights and you're playing in different climates, that's a huge, huge issue. And the last thing I want to be thinking about during the middle of the first song is, oh, I'm hearing my snare drum tuning start to slip. So here's how they work. They look like that. So there's a little groove thing in the bottom. You can get, there's usually about maybe 4 or 5 different positions. You got to move your tension rod a little bit. But it's never far off, you know what I mean? It might be like this, or let's try this one over here, like see where it's at. Yeah. So that one's right there. So yeah, you can usually, in the next position is right here. So you can usually find a spot. You don't have to adjust your tuning at all. And then on the bottom, they have little elastic bands that wrap around here. So like here, you would have one on here, and then the elastic band will come up through here and come back down. So they don't fall off. And if you want to adjust the tension, you just pop it off, adjust the tension, it hangs there by the elastic, and you pop it back on. So those things are amazing, mind-blowing. Okay, on the bottom side, let's see how I want to do this. Do I want to go upside down? Let's see what happens. I feel like a mechanic. Okay, bottom head is Evans Snare Hazy. These snare wires are, and they've been on forever, so we lost a few. This is a Canopus 42 strand snare wire, and they are gorgeous. They make my drums sound like it costs $1 million. It's just something about it when I put them on. Same thing with that top Evans snare head. I said, oh my God, I can't play without this thing. So great company, and I'm proud to endorse their snare wires. This is gross grain, I believe is what it's called. My tech, Ange Dunleavy, turned me on to it. It's cheap. You get it at a craft store, and it lasts forever. Better than anything ever, 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 ever. So, all right, what do we got? Cymbals. Why don't we? Oh, let's talk about the rest of the Evans heads. Okay, so we got the heavyweight on the snare, and this 360 technology. I've had issues with a lot of the vintage drums that I play that you sometimes have to wrestle the heads to get them on. These are a little bit wider, so it's never touching the side of the drum. It's only ever touching the rim. They go on easily. You could put the head on and just spin it, when it's sitting on top of the drum. The 360 technology, that was the game changer for me. That was the other thing that just blew my mind. So on my tops, I have G2 coateds, and you can see these have been on here. Again, man, I'd have to change heads so often with other brands. This head is it's probably been on there a month. It still sounds great. So coated G2s on the top, and on the bottoms are coated G1. And if I want to get them a little more thuddy, I just put the coated G2s. But they have a lot of different. They have a G12, which is a single 12 mil. They have a G14, which is a single 14 mil. So they got a lot of options, and they sound amazing. On the kick side here, I have the clear EQ3. And now you'll notice I did some modifications. They come with, I believe these heads come with a 1 or 2 EQ rings inside, built in, and I just cut them out. So, sorry, but I don't like a lot of muffling. But the drums, the heads themselves sound amazing. Okay, and then on this front side is their smooth white, and if you can look, I don't know, oh yeah, I think you can see it actually because there's light behind it. Right here, I cut this out as well. So this is there's a reinforcement ring, but then I cut it out all through the bottom here. So there's no not reinforcement, deadening. There's no ring on the bottom. So again, it's to taste, and I like that head to be resonant and the drum to really sing. So that's what is happening for me in my world. Okay, so this is my basic setup, more or less. Sometimes it's a little smaller. I might not have the second floor. I might use the 18 there. I have a 13 as well, so maybe I do 13, 16. I have smaller kick drums too. But this is my basic setup. Okay, so for cymbals, Plies, the best ever. 15-inch sound edge hi-hats, a lot of the usual suspects. For my ride, I've been playing the 24-inch Reverend Al ride, which is somewhere between a Crash and a 24-inch 2002 ride. But right now, I have just a 22-inch Crash, which I don't really play the ride so much, in the classic sense. So I like a lot of wash, and I end up breaking a lot of sticks if I play one of those really heavy rides, and I don't really have a need for it because I don't play metal. So this is what I've been playing, and I love it. 20-inch power crash, right? And typically I'll play 2 20-inch power crashes. I like the power crashes because they're a little bit thicker. I got them because I thought they'd be a little more durable, but what I realized is because they're a little thicker, the pitch is a little bit higher, and I like the fact that the cymbals are as far away frequency-wise from the drums. So if you listen to those old classic, and I'm just going to walk around so you're not staring at one thing while I'm talking here. If you listen to those classic drum sounds, The Who, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff, they only use 3 mics. I mean, sometimes they only use 1 mic. Sometimes they use 2. Sometimes they use more, but they didn't really have a lot of options back then. But when you play something like the Plies Giant Beat crashes, there's very little low end in those crashes. So they don't get down into the drum frequency, which is, kind of like 1 or 2K and then below, and then you got all the lows. But those cymbals, they're up high, they sound like giant splashes. They're gorgeous. And those guys weren't clobbering their cymbals, even though visually Keith Moon looked like a lunatic. If you watch him live, he's actually not hitting his cymbals that hard. So these guys knew how to control and get the right sound. So they were balanced. So you put up a microphone, and what you see is what you get. So if the cymbals are too loud, then they need to hit the cymbals lighter. And that's a great thing I learned from playing, recording with 4 tracks. I just put up a 58, and you'd kind of put it like here, and then you go, oh, not enough kick drum. Okay, let's put it down here. Oh, too much, snare. Okay, let's go over here, and you just move the mic, and you had to make the adjustments in your hands. And that's a great lesson for doing sessions, because I notice a lot of rock guys, especially, just clobber the cymbals, and there's not a balance. It's just all cymbal, So that is why I like the power crashes, because sonically, frequency-wise, they're up higher, and so that keeps them away from the drums. So there's more separation, which I like. This is a gorgeous 2002 22-inch China. It's beautiful, and I had one of these with the black lettering, which I thought was a reissue, because in the year 2002, they reissued a bunch of their cymbals with the classic lettering. And so that's what I thought I had. And I was doing a drum clinic at MI in Hollywood, and the artist rep at the time, Andrew Shreve, came out and he was checking out the cymbal. He goes, "Oh, this is cool." And he goes, I said, "Yeah." I go, "It's one of the reissues." And he goes, "Let me look at the serial number." And he said, "Nope, it's actually in 1976. And I said, "Oh, well, can you make me a new one then? Because I want to stop hitting this." And I'm surprised it hasn't broken yet. So it's in my drum storage locker, and if I have sessions, I use it. But for live, I've been using this, and it's just gorgeous. Sounds pretty much the same, but that 76 is just, it's aged, and there's something about it that's just really, really sweet. And then over here is super cool. Paiste Brood. So when I grew up, Paiste, well, I was just getting into drums. These Roods came out back in the day, and people like Tommy Lee, Stuart Copeland, Rick Allen from Def Leppard, they were playing the Roods. I think Alex Van Halen had them during the, like on the Jump video. They look amazing. They sounded great, and they were really cool because you could ride and crash on any size cymbal. So this is the thin crash, and it's really compatible with the rest of my cymbals. So there it is. And again, sometimes I'll have, usually like say, okay, for Mr. Big, I had all the same drums, but I would have the 20 there, and then I'd have the 20, another 20 there, and then a 19 there. So I'd have, you know, one crash, 2, 3, right? And then I have a little splash over here because there's Green Tinted 60s Mayan has some stuff in the beginning where you need that. And then I would also have another crash over here. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 crashes, my ride, set of hats, China, and a splash or 2. Okay, my pedal is a DW 5000. I do play double bass if needed, and that's, you can see there's the attachment there for the double, but I'm going to explain a little bit about this to you, and I'll get into more depth with this down the line. But so it's my 5000. The 9000s are really cool, but I prefer the 5s. It's just something about the feel of them that I really like. Super simple design. So you can see where I have this thing set. It's like right in the middle as far as where this goes. And this is really loose, right? So, and I have a counterweight up top here, and this thing is extended out pretty far. Now, here's one thing I want to address. When I play 20, when I tell people I play 26, they go, "Well, how do you hit the thing in the center? Isn't it hard to hit the drum in the center?" I don't know about you, but I don't hit any of my drums in the center, and I never have. Okay, snare drum. There. That's the center. I'm hitting there. Tom, same thing. It's like a little off center. Floor tom, maybe, only because I got this China to contend with. I don't hit any drums in the center, so don't worry about it. It's a little below center. Just had to say that because everyone's always worried about it, and it's really not an issue. So again, yeah, everything is really loose on this. I don't like to do too much work, and I like to get a lot of volume and power out of what I do. So I play loud, but I don't play hard. I'm relaxed when I'm playing, and if I'm exerting myself too much, I'm really conscious of that. So I'm always aware of how my muscles and my body is feeling. Some stuff you might need to push a little more to get it out if it's a fast thing or, you know, kind of a intricate pattern or whatever, but for the most part, relax, 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 relax. And if I am not relaxed, I will notice that because I will break sticks. So I might break 4 sticks in the first song, and that tells me, wow, I'm really amped up. And I could just be excited. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, but the excitement, the energy, essentially tension, comes out of my body, goes through the sticks. When that wood hits the metal, the wood has to give and it breaks. And so you might think, oh, you got a bad batch of sticks. Well, that's possible, but usually it's because you're a little cranked up. So just take a deep breath. Okay, so back to the pedal. Yeah, I mean, it's stock. There's no mods done to it, you know. But again, loose, and again, this thing here, so there's a lot of power, a lot of throw. And so when guys play it, they've commented, man, your pedal's so loose. And it's like, yeah, and I do a lot of, you know, pretty intricate stuff with one kick drum. So it's about letting the pedal do the work. these things, I don't know what the technical term is, so I won't name them, but you can get them in packs of 4 in different sizes. This is amazing, man. So, the drum needs to be deadened a little bit. This is on there. I've thrown these on floor toms. I've thrown ones that are smaller on bigger drums. So I had a scenario where I had a 13 and I needed to deaden the snare a little bit. I just put the 13 on just to hear it, and it just went like this, and I just left it because it let the edges ring a little bit. It was cool. So these things are super cool, but today I'm going to leave it off because this head's a little broken in and isn't quite as ringy as it was when I first put it on. Okay, that's pretty much the rundown on my kit. I'm really grateful to all my companies. I play the best gear in the world. I don't play anything because someone is hooking me up or giving me free stuff. I play it because I truly believe that it's the best. And I'm grateful to be able to say that. Okay, and my sticks are Vader Power 5B. So they're like 5Bs, but just a little more power. No kidding. Well, that's kind of the truth, but they're a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. This was basically, again, about making the stick do the work and letting gravity do the work. I got the biggest stick I could get and still play 30-second notes, right? So say I'm playing like Space Truckin' and bust out some 30-second notes in the middle of that. That's the size. Once I went to a size where I couldn't do that, then I said, okay, I got to go back one. And so that's where I ended up here with these. And I love them. They're balanced. They're super powerful. They allow me to have a certain amount of finesse. And it's perfect. And that's the deal, man. Okay? I hope that's informative or helpful or just insightful in some way. And really about the kit, man, it's whatever you want. It's whatever you have, whatever your needs are, and that's what you go with. So, I've done different gigs, and I've had different setups depending on the gig, but for me, it's this classic setup that works. And there's my sexy Humsenberg custom snare case in crushed glass and red glitter. If you want one, go to my site. They're awesome, limited edition, and they're all individually numbered. And they're made by the Picasso of drum cases, Mr. Mike Burke. Okay, cool, guys. If you got any questions, hit me up, mattstarmusic.com. And looking forward to chatting with you all again really soon.